Welcome to another episode of Untold Legends. This time we head into the action-packed universe of Dragon Ball, where superpowered warriors battle aliens, monsters, and robots in fast-paced battles, resulting in massive, planet-destroying explosions.
Trunks, let's go!
Final Flash! Oh shit!
One of the strongest species in the series is the alien race known as the Saiyans. This episode will mainly focus on one specific Saiyan, the father of Goku, a man named Bardock, and we'll explore why the evil Frieza was so terrified of him without even knowing that he was. Before we begin, let's set some expectations. None of the information exclusively found in the manga will be considered, since it clashes with the animated version, and there's been some debate whether some of these events are even considered canon or not. We're ignoring all of that and simply going by what's been shown in animated form, specifically in DBZ, with the exception of a small story mentioned from the video game Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. The Beerus and Frieza connection from Super will also not be addressed in this video. Let's begin with a history lesson. What is a Saiyan? The Saiyans were a race of beings from the planet Sadala, a warrior race with fighting in their blood, born with immense strength and a tribal mentality. They also had access to an immensely destructive ability, as long as their tails were still intact. The light from a full moon or an artificial moon would cause a Saiyan to grow into a great ape, a gigantic monstrous form where most levels of intelligence and control were lost. Very few Saiyans could retain their intelligence as a great ape. To bring one of these monsters back to normal, the tail would need to be cut off or the light from the moon interrupted.
You're all going to pay!
Eventually, the Saiyans of planet Sadala came into conflict with each other, and tribal infighting destroyed much of their own planet. The Saiyans needed a new home, and in time learned spaceflight from another species. So the Saiyans took to the stars and discovered Planet Plant, a world inhabited by the Tuffles, a technologically advanced and peaceful civilization. For a time, the Tuffles and the Saiyans lived in peace, sharing the planet, but one day, the Saiyans attacked unprovoked, wiping out the Tuffles completely and taking their world as their own, renaming it Planet Vegeta. The Saiyans and their incredible thirst for battle eventually caught the attention of Frieza, self-proclaimed Emperor of the Universe and the most powerful mortal being in existence, imbued with the ability to transform into more powerful forms. Frieza was the head of a massive organization made up of loyal servants and enslaved races. His empire would find inhabited planets, wipe out entire populations, and sell the worlds to the highest bidder. They were essentially genocidal space pirates. Seeing the opportunity he had with the Saiyans, Frieza displayed his raw power to the king and subjugated the entire race under his rule, forcing them to work for him. And the Saiyans rarely had any real concept of family life either, focusing their entire lifestyle on strength alone, separating their people into different castes based on their power levels, such as elite warriors and low-level warriors. If Saiyan babies were born with power levels too low, they were sent away alone to other worlds, in the hopes that they would grow up and destroy those populations. Over time, the Saiyans were growing stronger and more frustrated that they were being forced to serve Frieza, so much so that King Vegeta was planning a rebellion.
You are the greatest fighters on our planet. You are the elite. Together you will fight, and together you will conquer.
And Frieza was growing more and more concerned about the legend some Saiyans believed in, mostly considered a myth, the legend of the Super Saiyan. Various versions of the legend were known, but all involved a Saiyan emerging, more powerful than any other Saiyan in history. Frieza feared that the legend was more than myth, and watched his Saiyan forces carefully. Unknown to Frieza, and even the Saiyans themselves, the power of the Super Saiyan could be unlocked when a Saiyan's strength was high enough to handle the surge of energy, and they experienced an extreme surge of emotion, although multiple ways have been shown to attain the ability. Once in Super Saiyan form, a Saiyan's abilities increased to colossal levels: strength, speed, perception, everything. This was a power that Frieza could not risk being used against him, and he began testing the strength of the Saiyans by sending them on the most dangerous assignments. One band of low-level Saiyans were quickly becoming known by Frieza's forces, led by the warrior Bardock, and consisting of his best friend Tora and the Saiyans Borgos, Shugesh, and Fasha. Bardock was considered weak among the rest of his people, and was pretty distant with them beyond his own team, leading them into the most extreme missions and returning from many battles severely wounded, only to recover and take on another mission. He had also recently become a father to his second child Kakarot, later called Goku, and one of the babies assigned to be sent away.
Bardock, do you remember what day your son was born?
No, but that was a long time ago.
It was not, you lazy bum. Yesterday? Come on, you need to go see the little tyke. You have enough time to stop in before our next assignment.
Visit him, huh? How nice. Father-son bonding. Why should I? They'll just send him away. What's the use? Tell me that.
After Kakarot was born, Bardock's crew was sent to annihilate Planet Kanasa, a world inhabited by a species that can see the future, and predicted their own demise. After the assault, the last remaining Kanasan attacked Bardock directly and cursed him to the same fate they had to endure.
I wish you baboons could read minds so you could have heard the thoughts of my troops as you slaughter them. Huh? Bardock.
He reads minds.
You can too now, Bardock, so that you could see. See the horror of your end, just like we had to.
The Kanasan left Bardock unconscious and transferred his ability to see the future. And while healing from his injuries, Bardock began experiencing visions of his son growing up, becoming a pure-hearted warrior, leaving Bardock confused and disturbed. More horrifyingly, Bardock kept seeing their homeworld of Planet Vegeta being destroyed.
It's my son! A planet being destroyed? Was it Vegeta? No, it couldn't be. Why am I seeing these things? My son. He's become a warrior, but he's different from us. What's wrong with him? No!
Get him out of there! Something serious is going on!
Frieza, having heard about the Saiyans' success on planet Kanasa, realized that their low-class warriors were becoming quickly stronger than his own elites, and personally ordered Bardock's team on another mission, and believing they were being recognized by Frieza, his team excitedly left, honored to be chosen. But this mission would end in betrayal.
Why? Tell me! Why are you doing this? We serve Frieza! You know that!
Frieza's very impressed with your service record. Frieza thought that you were getting too strong.
Everything that we've done was for him! How can he do this?
You fool, it's not what you've done. It's what you might have done in the future.
As soon as Bardock healed, he rushed to go meet his team and stop by to see his son, disappointed that his visions of a great warrior didn't seem to be true.
Only an average power level. I thought you were special.
Bardock arrived on Planet Meat, where his team was sent, believing they had a successful mission, but after searching for them, expecting to find celebration, he discovered only tragedy.
Tora!
We were ambushed by Dotoria and his men.
Frieza's the one who ordered us here.
Yes, it was a setup. Frieza, he wants us all dead.
But why? We took the jobs that even his elites wouldn't mess with, and we still won! No one works like we do, Tora! No one!
We were getting to be the best. Frieza's scared.
Scared of what?
Of you, Bardock. Frieza's scared of you. Don't you see? He's scared of what you might become. You're getting too strong. Good luck, old friend. I'm sorry that I can't.
His best friend was dead, and his entire crew slaughtered, after years of serving Frieza without question. Now Bardock only had payback in his mind, and was determined to avenge his crew.
I thought there was a foul smell in the air.
We had some good laughs with your crew earlier, too. You should have been there.
You're right. I should have been there.
Oh no! What have I done? Tail attack!
That was from my crew to you.
Although he wiped out most of Frieza's men, Bardock was overpowered and injured, but he made his way back to his ship and left to return home. While Bardock was gone, his son Kakarot was being prepared to be sent away to a planet called Earth. And on his way to Earth, the baby passed right by his father's ship, triggering another vision for Bardock. And at that point, Bardock realized that these visions weren't simple hallucinations. Bardock's vision of seeing Planet Vegeta was the future. He had been seeing the end of his own people.
Please, I need to go. Move!
You better go straight to recovery. Oh, and hey, you missed your son. He just left.
Huh? Just now?
Yep. I wish I would have known that it was you coming in. I could have delayed his departure.
That means that the other part of the vision must be true as well. Vegeta!
And Frieza learned that Bardock had survived and almost wiped out an entire squadron of his elites. The Saiyans were too big a risk, and they had to be dealt with immediately.
Once again, you botched it up.
I did not!
You missed one. The leader, Bardock. He's still alive.
You're wrong. I saw him die. How could he have survived that?
Dodoria.
Oh.
Perhaps this will teach you not to take things for granted, to be more thorough with your work.
Lord Frieza, forgive me. Please, sire, let me go now. Bardock, he's dead.
You'll be quiet, Dodoria. You're not going anywhere. There's no need to chase after the bee anymore. I've decided to go straight for the hive.
Sire?
Yes, I see. You've decided to extinguish the whole lot of them, sire.
Arriving back home, a terrified and disoriented Bardock knew that Frieza was on his way. He had to warn everybody. As soon as Frieza arrived above Planet Vegeta, King Vegeta and his rebellion attacked, determined to be freed from Frieza's servitude. But all of his efforts were in vain. Fate had arrived.
The king! No!
My, what a pity.
king had failed to stop Frieza, and Bardock's efforts to warn the other Saiyans had failed, as they laughed him off, believing that Frieza had nothing to fear from any of them. And not knowing what else to do, a panicked Bardock collapsed and had another vision of his son, showing his father that he could be better.
Bardock! You know who I am, don't you, Bardock? Yes, you are my son.
It's not too late, Father, to be different than him.
Bardock knew he was the only Saiyan left that had knowledge of Frieza's arrival, and he had to do something. Still injured from his previous battles, he decided to face the tyrant head-on, in a confrontation that would shape the future of the entire Dragon Ball universe.
It's him. I can feel it. And I'm the only one who knows. Frieza, I'm coming for you, you murderous, self-serving traitor. It's over. Tora, Fasha, this is for you. You coward! Come out!
It's him!
Frieza!
Lord Frieza! Frieza! Listen up! We quit! All of us! This is for all the people that we killed in your name! I wish we were never foolish enough to obey you! Here! Have it! No way!
Only a handful of Saiyans off-world at the time survived the destruction of Planet Vegeta, as Kakarot landed on Earth to be raised by a wise old man. But that was not the end of Bardock. Waking up in a strange new place, he found himself being treated by two aliens, a doctor named Ipana and his son Barry. After speaking with the pair briefly, Bardock realized that this was Planet Plant, the original name of Planet Vegeta, but he didn't realize the full extent of what had happened to him. Just before Bardock would have died with the rest of the Saiyans, two demons called Mira and Toa opened up a wormhole in an attempt to bring Bardock to the future and control him. Eventually they did succeed, but that's a story for another time. In this first attempt, Bardock was accidentally sent thousands of years back in time, before the Saiyans inhabited Planet Plant or even the Tuffles. Ipana and Barry belonged to the peaceful natives of Plant, and Barry was extremely curious about Bardock, never having heard of a Saiyan, and attempted to befriend him. But Bardock's natural Saiyan attitude was to show no affection. And changed by his son's words and his visions, Bardock was no longer the cold-blooded warrior he once was, and eventually warmed up to Barry. Eventually, two warriors arrived and announced their plans to conquer the peaceful planet, and made the mistake of running into a now healed and stronger than ever Bardock.
今日からこの惑星プラントは宇宙海賊チルド様のものになる。バカなやつだ。キャビラ、見せしめにしてやれ。任せろ。くそ。
The Thankful villagers praised Bardock for defending them from these invaders, but they were more dangerous than they could imagine. These warriors were actually part of the organization that would one day become Frieza's empire of space pirates. And this time, the organization is run by a sadistic alien called Chilled, an ancestor of the evil Frieza. Due to the death of his soldiers, Chilled and his men began terrorizing the planet. Barry rushed to find Bardock and begged for his help. Initially, Bardock wanted nothing to do with the battle, but then remembered the monsters that decimated his crew and refused to let it happen again, rushing to the fight and saving Ipana from Chilled's men.
チルド様に逆らおうなんてバカなやつだぜ。
And when Bardock laid his eyes on Chilled for the first time, it brought memories of Frieza flooding back to him, and Bardock attacked. Chilled, much like Frieza, was far stronger than Bardock was. As he prepared to finish off the Saiyan with an energy blast, Barry rushed in to save his new friend, and Chilled turned his attention towards him. Seeing these innocent people being hurt enraged Bardock. He remembered his crew that he had failed to save, his son sent away to a foreign world for being too weak, the destruction of his homeworld and all of his people. All of his battles and near-death injuries had pushed him to his limits, and he felt power and rage swirling and building up inside of his body. And then, something triggered. Bardock had unlocked the legendary power of the Super Saiyan, technically becoming the first Super Saiyan in history. Suddenly, the difference in power between Bardock and Chilled was turned completely upside down, and Chilled stood no chance against the might of Bardock. being blasted into space, Chilled was severely injured and found by his crew. With his last words, he told his men to warn his family about the Saiyan warrior with golden hair, and eventually this knowledge was passed down to Frieza, fueling his paranoia and the fear of the Super Saiyan rising against him. And Bardock set out to walk his own path and explore the depths of his new power.
それは定かではない。
In time, his son, now known as Goku, did in fact come face to face with Frieza in his final extremely powerful form, and instantly remembered the Saiyan that give him so much trouble.
Hey, Kakarot, it looks like you made it.
Kakarot? But that's a Saiyan name, isn't it? Huh? Yes. Yes, that's it. Now I remember. I was in a skirmish with a Saiyan who looks just like you. You're his offspring. The resemblance between you is unmistakable.
And Goku valiantly fought Frieza, but the evil overlord overpowered him in every aspect. But Frieza pushed Goku too far. After murdering his best friend Krillin, the same power his father had discovered flowed through his body as well, and Frieza realized that the legends were true.
Krillin, no!
Krillin!
Frieza, stop this!
Help me!
I won't let you get away with this!
Frieza was terrified of Goku's new ability, but the evil tyrant refused to give up, setting the planet they were on a path to destruction and powering his body up to its full strength. And then the two superpowered titans clashed in a long, violent conflict that would determine the fate of the entire universe.
How did you get this incredible power? It's true, isn't it?
Now you will know the horror, Frieza! I am the answer to all living things that cry out for peace. I am protector of the innocent. I am the light in the darkness. I am truth.
Why am I not surprised? You Saiyans are like a stubborn virus, and now the virus has mutated to preserve itself. Only one of us is leaving alive! I hate you!
Behind you! Get down now!
My own attack?
Frieza had been sliced by his own attack, now lying on the floor, bleeding and helpless, and begged Goku for help. But Goku's forgiving personality couldn't leave him to die on that planet alone. But Frieza had a heart full of evil that can never be changed.
I gave you some of my own energy. You should be able to move.
Learn what happens when you mess with the most powerful being in the universe! Monkey. He was just a monkey.
Goku had avenged the Saiyan race and honored his father's legacy. Frieza eventually did return from the clutches of death, rebuilt with cybernetic parts keeping him alive, and rushing to Earth with his father to exact his revenge. But when he landed on Earth, he encountered the young Super Saiyan from the future, Trunks, and was forced to relive the trauma that he experienced fighting a Super Saiyan.
It's those eyes. They have the same eyes. No, Saiyan!
Hey, Frieza!
And yet again, the power of the Super Saiyan was too much to handle, as Frieza finally met his end. And that is the complete origin of Frieza's greatest fear. I hope all of you Dragon Ball fans out there enjoyed this video, and for any non-Dragon Ball fans out there that may have sat through this whole thing, I hope it piqued your interest in the series. Go check it out. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like and a comment down below letting me know. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on social media. You can also check out some of my other videos or click my Patreon link if you'd like to support GamerThumbTV. This is Fabian. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.